Hello guys, Matt here, and wow, what a first day of BlizzCon. There was a lot to digest from all of Blizzard's games, but we are going to focus on Blizzard's up and coming MOBA styled FPS release, Overwatch, which was given a rough release date of spring 2016. I for one got really enthralled by this game at last BlizzCon when it was announced for the first time, and a year hasn't changed my mind. The closed beta for the game is now up and running, and it's no surprise that it constantly does well on Twitch. There's a lot of excitement over this game and it's easy to see why. The beta looks extremely well polished, almost like a complete game, so I'm not shocked at all by its release date for early next year. So what did we learn at BlizzCon? For one, the news from earlier in this week is accurate, and that Blizzard has created 3 new heroes for us to enjoy, and they look more than interesting to say the least. Firstly, we can have a look at D.Va. D.Va is a new tank hero with extremely interesting gameplay mechanics. D.Va is a mech pilot who uses her skills to create space for her team and protect her allies.
I play to win!
Let's take a look at her abilities. While in mech mode, D.Va uses her ability Fusion Cannons as her primary method of attack. This attack is super rapid fire, and like a shotgun blast, as it has dual cone effects similar to Reaper. This deals a ton of damage but negatively slows you down. Her next ability, Boosters, allows the large mech good mobility, where rocket boosters allow the player to charge in direction similar to Reinhardt to get to the enemies faster, or to also fly to get into different spots in the map. Defense Matrix is another very powerful ability for this hero, where by using it, the player can defend themselves and allies from enemy projectiles by projecting a shield in front of themselves, which shoots down enemy fire. Whilst in mech mode, D.Va's ultimate ability is Self-Destruct, which immediately launches D.Va from a mech suit, which then explodes in an AoE blast with a huge radius. This can cause devastation to an enemy team, particularly in pressure points in the map. Now, whilst D.Va is in pilot mode outside her mech suit, she becomes a basic character with a basic attack called Light Gun, which causes damage to enemies. However, her ultimate ability in this mode, should she stay alive for long enough, is called Cool Mech, which summons her mech suit back to her. What is really cool about this character is that when she dies, whilst in mech mode, instead of waiting to respawn, she immediately ejects from the suit and continues in pilot mode, where she could perhaps help finish off her enemies and gain her ult ability to resummon the mech suit.
Time to raise my APM. Nerf this.
Next we can take a look at Mai, the new defense hero in Overwatch, who uses ice attacks to damage, slow, stun and create obstacles for enemies to overcome.
Our world is worth fighting for.
Mai's primary ability is Endothermic Blast, which slows enemies over time of contact before finally freezing them in place for a short while. This can be used to slow down a fast-paced team and stop enemies from reaching objectives or pressure points in the map. Secondly, Mai has an ability Icicles, which after a short delay, fires, you guessed it, icicles from her blaster, which causes damage accurately to the enemy. Mai's next ability will be familiar to all of you WoW Frost mages out there, as Cryo Freeze is identical to Ice Block, where Mai freezes herself in place in a shield of ice which negates all damage coming her way. Useful in near-death situations and in big fights. I presume it will also affect line of sight as well, meaning it can be strategically used to protect allies also. Onto one of the coolest abilities I've seen in Overwatch, and there are a ton of awesome ones. Ice Wall. This summons a huge block of ice into the map where it can be strategically used for numerous reasons. Place it under teammates to allow them to reach new areas of the map, place it as a defense the enemy team have to get through, or even use it to defend teammates. Mai's ultimate, aptly named Blizzard, acts as a huge AoE slow, leading to a freeze. Use this to halt the enemy team or to render them useless in a brawl, so that your teammates can swoop in and take advantage of easy kills. Lastly, we are introduced to Genji. And for all those who enjoy story, this cybernetic ninja has a great one. He is Hanzo's brother and the two seem like they could really use some heavy family therapy. Although an aesthetically pleasing character, this one seemed to be the most underwhelming to me from a gameplay standpoint in comparison to the other two characters. However, he will still be a badass hero to play and provide hours of fun. He seems to have a high level of mobility and quick deadly attacks coupled with decent AoE. His primary ability, Shuriken, is your standard ranged attack for decent speed and damage. Final Blade seems similar to Shuriken. It fires in a cone of AoE with good range, perhaps with less accuracy. Swift Strike is an ability that can be used in any direction, including up, where he blinks forward in a charge attack that slices the enemy for what seems like a bleed effect. When I say that he can use it up, that means he can attack Farah when she's using the ultimate ability, for example, in the sky. Now, Deflect looks like an incredibly fun ability that can counter high rates of fire on a target from Bastion, for example, or heavy shots from a sniper, to even ultimates. The ability also allows the player to deflect enemy fire back at an enemy in the direction you're facing for a few seconds. When timed to perfection, this could become incredibly powerful and useful to your team. As a passive, Genji uses Cyber Agility to become highly mobile, allowing the player to climb walls and double jump onto hard to get spots of the map. Genji's ultimate is Dragon Blade, which is described as really scary and powerful. This allows Genji to draw his sword and use flurries of deadly quick melee attacks to carve open enemy teams. These new characters all complement a host of awesome heroes, creating a dynamic experience where different hero combinations plays to different strategies, and given the variety and diversity of all the heroes, there seem to be many optimal methods for achieving victory in the game. This allows for a fun game which will continue to evolve and help the longevity of the title, which seems already very difficult to get bored of. Blizzard also announced a whole new map for us. This map is called Hollywood and I can't wait to battle in it. The team chose the map because of the fantasy based in the setting and wanted to continue the trend of Blizzardized portrayals of real world places set in the future. The map's objective is to escort the payload to the endpoint. The players must escort the payload through Hollywood Boulevard onto a Hollywood western backlot where different characters will have different optimum routes, be it going through buildings or in the open sky and rooftops. Next, the heroes will journey to the soundstage of a ritual-like space movie before finally heading back out to Hollywood. The team placed a lot of Easter eggs in this map for Blizzard fans such as Goldshire Studios and Tyrael's trailer, and that's just some of the many in this map. It just goes to show that they are having as much fun creating the game as we will playing it. Now on to even more important stuff. Blizzard also announced that all 21 heroes and current content will be in the standard PC release of the game. However, also on PC and Xbox One and PS4, you can now pre-order the Overwatch Origins Edition, priced at $44.99 in Great British Pounds. With this edition, we gain some nice perks for other Blizzard games as well as Overwatch itself. If, for example, you are a StarCraft player, you receive 6 Overwatch hero portraits. In Diablo, you gain Mercy's wings for your character. Hearthstone players get a very swanky looking Overwatch card back. WoW players gain a very cute Winston battle pet, and the coolest thing of all, Heroes of the Storm players get the all new Tracer hero from Overwatch to play as a new Hero of the Storm. As mentioned before, purchases of the Origin Edition will also get nice perks for Overwatch 2. The premise of the Origin Edition is to portray the backstory of all the heroes in the Overwatch universe. This will be highlighted in the game with new skins for some of the different heroes, such as Tracer looking pretty groovy as Slipstream Tracer, Soldier 76 looking a lot more heroic and noble as Strike Commander Morrison, Farah still looking badass as Security Chief Farah, and Bastion, being the peaceful robot that he is, might look a little overgrown. You need a trim, my friend. And finally, have you ever thought, what was Reaper like before he became the scary, hardcore badass that he is now? No? Well, you don't need to, because it has been answered for us. He still looks like a bad guy, but as a mercenary, Blackwatch Reyes. Now there will also be a collector's edition for the game, which includes a sourcebook, as well as a really cool looking bronze statue of Soldier 76. You know, Blizzard, if this was Reaper, Tracer, or even Widowmaker, I'd have been more tempted, but it's still really cool. Speaking of Widowmaker, if you pre-purchase the game at buyoverwatch.com, you will also get a new skin for Widowmaker in Overwatch. The new skin is titled Noir Widowmaker, and it's really cool. It makes the character look even more deadly than she previously looked. Now onto the potential beta access. It was highly speculated that on pre-purchase of the game, players could access the beta. Having not bought it myself, I cannot confirm nor deny that claim. However, it wasn't mentioned by the panel, so I wouldn't count it as highly likely. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't get too hopeful. There was also a Q&A section at the Overwatch panel, and I have plucked some interesting moments from that section. We learned that the new characters will be available early next week for the beta. For all you lucky beta players, oh how jealous I am of you. Also, split screen co-op mode for consoles is something they would really like to do in the future, and thought it was an awesome idea, but there's no plans to do so for release. Blizzard has also supported modding games in the past, and although there are no plans again for release, they would like to see a good way for the mods to be implemented in Overwatch in the future. They also announced that they are happy with the number of heroes they have in the game, but would have to evaluate if they wish to add more in the future, and that means probably a pricing system, which is never a good thing. Also, there is no plan for all you Mac users out there to release Overwatch, so sorry about that. They have big plans for Overwatch as an esport, and have an announcement to make in the future with regards to esports and Overwatch. Exciting stuff. And that's what we learned from BlizzCon Day 1. Links will be provided below for additional information and sources. Remember to like and sub if you would really like to help us out. And if you're a fan of Blizzard games as I am, I would really highly recommend watching the Warcraft movie trailer. It was incredible. I cannot stress that enough. It was great. I cannot wait for it. I would also recommend looking at the masterpiece that was the Warcraft Legion cinematic trailer. Sylvanas, who I have a tattoo of by the way, is seriously awesome in it. She is so fucking badass. And yeah, go watch it. Just stop what you're doing, watch it. Okay, we'll hang out next time, and until then, bye!